All right, and we're back. So here we go. This is what I was talking about. If you're given the zeros, I want you to find the polynomial. All right, so what this tells me is that x equals 1, 2, and negative 3. So if x equals 1, then if I move the 1 over, then x minus 1 would be equal to 0, right? So that means that x minus 1 is one of our factors. If x equals 2, minus 2, then x minus 2 would equal 0. So x minus 2 is a factor. You follow my drift here? It's just the opposite, right? So if x equals negative 3 plus 3 plus 3, x plus 3 was a factor, so I would have x plus 3. Now this part right here, I'm just showing it to you. Obviously, some of us are going to be able to do this in our head. All right, if you can do it in your head, that's totally fine. Just know that I'm going to take the opposite to get the factors. Just like we take the opposite of our factors to get our zeros, we're going to go backwards now and get to the factors. So to find the standard form, okay, meaning we're going from here, this is our factored form, back to here, our standard form, okay? So in order to find that, what I need to do, there we go. What I'm going to want to do here is I'm going to want to multiply. I'm going to multiply x minus 1 times x minus 2. Okay, obviously I'm multiplying two binomials, which means I have to FOIL. So if I FOIL this out, I should get x squared minus 3x plus 2. But I also have this x plus 3 to consider. Okay, so I haven't done anything with the x plus 3. So I don't multiply the x minus 2 times the x plus 3 now and then add them. What I do is multiply x plus 3 to this trinomial. So I'm going to put the x plus 3 in front. I think it's easier this way. So I'm going to put the x plus 3 here. Okay, and now I'm going to multiply this x plus 3 to everything in there. And what I mean by that, I'm going to multiply x to x squared to get x cubed. I'm going to multiply x to negative 3x to get negative 3x squared. And I'm going to multiply x to 2 to get plus 2x. Then I'm going to take the 3 and also multiply it to everything in here. So I have a positive 3x squared. I have a negative 9x and a plus 6. Now there's a reason I wrote it out like this. So some of us can write it out in one line, that's fine, then you can combine your like terms. I choose to do it this way so that my like terms are aligned here. So there's nothing underneath the x cubed, so x cubed comes down. Negative 3x squared and positive 3x squared, well, those cancel out, so I don't have any x squared terms, but I have 2x. Let me show those canceling out for you. These cancel out. I have 2x and negative 9x to give me minus 7x and the plus 6. All right, so f of x equals that. And this is your answer. This is standard form of our polynomial. Okay? In standard form, just a quick little tidbit, you need to write your powers from greatest to smallest, or degrees need to go from highest to lowest. All right, so cubed, then the squared, then 1, then none. All right, that's what I mean by that. Okay, let's find the polynomial of degree 3 with the zeros of 2 and I. Well, if it's degree 3, that means I'm going to have 3 zeros. But I only have 2, but one of them is imaginary. Since I have an imaginary root, if I have a positive I, and I have a negative I. All right, so I'm going to have x plus I for the negative I, x minus I, and then x minus 2 as my factors. Anytime you have imaginary roots like this, or irrational, if this was square root of 2 and negative square root of 2, I'm going to multiply those two together first so that the i's or the square roots cancel out. All right, so I want to multiply these two parentheses together first. Okay, so if I do x times x, I get x squared. If I do x times I get negative ix. If I do I times x, I get positive ix. Now if I do I times negative I get minus I squared. Well, you notice what happens here. Our IX's cancel out, and this is why we're doing multiplying the term, the factored form, our imaginary factors first. All right, so our i's will cancel. Okay, so I have x squared minus I squared. Whoops, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, well, I squared is equal to negative 1. So really, this is x squared minus negative 1, which makes it x squared plus 1, like that. Okay, so I'm going to write that out again. All right, really it's minus negative 1, since I squared is negative 1. All right, so anytime you see I squared, think negative 1. I also have to take into fact this x minus 2, so the x minus 2 comes down, and we're foiling again. X squared times x gives me x cubed minus 2x squared plus x minus 2. So f of x equals all of that. Standard form of our polynomial. For today's practice, it's just going to be stuff like this. You're going to be given zeros, and I want you to find the standard form of our polynomial. All right? Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.